Hey folks, it's Philip with the Everyday Fighter podcast, where we share stories and insights from everyday fighters just like you. Today we are talking with Pierre Lagasca. He is an amateur MMA fighter out of Las Vegas and just an amazing guy. He was really gracious in sharing his story of growing up from a very difficult home life, talking about his mother who was a drug addict, what that was like for him, and then finding his way into the street, basically, and getting into a bit of trouble, and then just finding martial arts through a series of just happenstance, coincidences. He found himself getting drawn into martial arts multiple times in his youth, and found a way to stay with it. Now, not only is he fighting in the amateur circuit, but he's also using his gifts and skills in MMA to be able to give back to youth that were in the same situation that he was in growing up, and trying to be a positive role model for them and give them another option in their lives. Not necessarily to get into MMA, but to give them an option doing something other than getting into trouble, doing something other than enduring the challenges at home or in the streets. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to sharing Pierre's story with you. But before we do that, I wanted to get into our episode spotlight again. Our spotlights here are really for individuals and organizations that I think they're doing great work. They just need a little bit more attention brought to them. These folks have no idea that I do this. They have no idea who I am. But I wanted to do my part in any case to kind of share what they're doing with you. And today I wanted to talk about growingboulder.com. Now, the way I actually found these folks is through Facebook. Just in my feed, I'll get various videos shared with me, and a couple of videos that I had seen from them highlighted people that were much older but doing amazing things, typically around sports. It's not something that you normally see for people that are 60, 70, 80, even 100 years old doing. But some of these folks that they featured were doing very well in sport, from weightlifting to running, and it really just struck a chord with me. So I really appreciate what they do, kind of, and their thing is kind of rebranding aging, and absolutely, it's been an inspiration for me in what I want in my life as I get older as well. So I recommend them highly. You can find out more about them at their website, growingboulder.com. And there you'll find links to their social media and their radio program, as well as the television and video programs they have available. And that is our spotlight. With that, let us jump into the interview with Pierre Lagasca.
Well, growing up, grew up out here in Henderson in Nevada, and my dad had us in all kinds of martial arts. Kempo at first, did some boxing, then went and got back into Kempo, and then my mom was in and out of my life, and I was a mommy's boy, of course, so I wanted her. Left that from my dad having me in martial arts growing up, watching him watch UFC and boxing and all this kind of stuff back when like Tito Ortiz and who was it, Ken Shamrock were real big, and as far as back as I remember, and kind of going back with my mom back and forth because I wanted her, and that she had a bad lifestyle, and I chose to be around her, and that kind of like inspired me around hang out with wrong people and stuff like that.
So this was all in Henderson, or was this in Hawaii?
Yeah, out here in Nevada.
Okay,
Yeah,
so did you your family's from Hawaii?
yeah. My dad.
And then so were you born there or?
Nah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So you're born
I
in
wish.
Henderson,
I
grew
wish.
up through all that. Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah. Uh, and so going back and forth with my dad, wrong people. Then going back to my dad's house, I was actually getting in school, just fighting a lot, left and right, always RPC, suspended, and so my dad really wanted me to take that and do something with it, but me being from seeing how it was with my dad's house and seeing it with my mom, and of course there was no rules, so I thought, that was great, that was awesome, so I wanted that, but hanging out with the wrong people. So where that leads to. And then things change, man. You grow up, I had kids, life was tough, and I had enough of it, to realize that there's gotta be a change, like can't be doing the same things. And one day I went to a UFC gym, met with Jamin Tayaba, and he really like sparked it in me again to want to fight and get back into it. I was doing that real hardcore, and then after a while, brought my brother into it with me, my little brother D'Angelo, and then we met Phil Dunlap, and that's my current coach now, and he's been a greatest asset in my life that I've ever had. Like as far as outside the ring, he's like a second father figure. I can call him up for advice anytime, 2:30 in the morning, whenever I need to talk. Just when I need to hit it back, I need to get beat up. He's there. He's there.
So your parents were split up. You're going back and forth between your mom and dad's place, and now when your dad put you in kempo and then the boxing, then back to the kempo, were you already fighting in school and having challenges back then too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was
Yeah.
like, okay, well, if you're going through all these challenges, maybe this might be a place to start kind of channeling
Yeah.
that a little bit. How did that work
Yeah.
out for you? What was that like when he put you in there? Because I mean, fighting in the schoolyard, fighting outside, that's very different than fighting or even just the environment in a dojo. What was
Yeah.
that like? How did you adjust to that?
Um, I loved it. It was great. The exercise, the techniques that we learned, just the moves I thought in general were tight. Like I always wanted to be a ninja. It was cool. Always was involved with like Power Rangers, and I still am. I still watch them to this day. So like it was always fun to me, and to take that from, I mean, I didn't know it back then. It was a negative aspect, but I knew it wasn't good. But to do it and do something great with it, like it was a better. It felt good inside.
So how old were you when you started with the kempo?
Um, how young was I? I think third grade,
Oh,
so
okay.
maybe 8, 9.
Okay. So it was even
Yeah,
then, like, so did you feel that it kind of helped out with the stuff that was going on outside, like in school and that type of thing?
it helped. It definitely helped. I guess not so much berserk out as much,
Hmm.
and just not going back to it. What I'm saying, it wasn't. It's unhealthy, and people with who have problems like that, I think that martial arts is a really good thing for them.
Well, definitely, it seemed to have worked out for you, right? Like it helped you in any case. So
Yeah.
how long did you do the kempo for the first time around?
I don't remember exactly how long, but I made it to the orange belt.
Okay. And then at that point, did you have a break and then go into boxing, or was it right away you went into boxing right after that, or how was that? How did that work out?
Um, I left to my mom, and because I wanted to run away from my dad's and stuff like that. So I did that, and they had this forget what it was called in the area, but I would go there a couple times in and out, and
Like a boxing gym, or?
yeah, I forget what it was called. It wasn't like nothing major or anything like that, but my mom thought it would be good for me, and so I did that. But being around with her with no rules and stuff, it didn't work out.
Hmm. So you didn't stick with that for very long.
Nah,
So it,
I liked hanging out with the bad friends and stuff. I thought that was fun.
I see, I see. But then you ended up making your way back to Kempo again, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. I started doing martial arts again. My friend Rebecca, she would teach me and things like that. She was my coach from way back when I started, and running around and doing the streets, I met up with her again sometime in life. I met up with her again, and it was just great.
Hmm.
So that worked out good.
So she was one of your trainers or one of the instructors from before, and
Yeah,
then
back when I was in Denver.
you just happened to run into her again.
Yep, yep. She happened to be my wife today's across the street neighbor.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
interesting. So at the time it was like your girlfriend, and then you see she's oh, hey, who's that across the street? Oh, yeah, we
Yeah, I
know
was
I know
like,
her.
I know her. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was great, man. It was great. So having that, it just blew my mind that it just so happened to be like that. Like maybe it was a sign. Something was telling me something. Like this is for you.
So is
It
was it?
was,
Did she? Did she know about your challenges outside of the dojo before, when you were there, before,
um,
even when you met up with her again?
no, but as soon as we seen her, like she kind of knew. Like as I was running the streets, hanging out with bad people, I I kind of got into like drugs and stuff like that. So she knew, she just knew. She just knew, like she could just see it on me, and always just supported me and encouraged me to, steer away from that. So
So when you met up with her again, how old were you then?
I think I was like 17, 18, maybe.
Wow, that's quite a
Yeah,
that's quite a jump,
like
man. That's a
a
lot of
long
time.
time, a
Yeah.
long time.
So you started up with her again shortly after you saw her again. So what was that like for you? I mean, to like you had your old teacher, your instructor, and then now you're back with her, and then even in that environment, what was that adjustment period like for you? Did you feel like you're
Um,
starting over, or what? It was.
it felt like I was starting over, but we had that. It felt like it was better because we already had that bond. Like she was already that person,
Hmm.
just starting over.
Hmm. Hmm. How long were you training with her after that second time?
It was still in and out because I was still running the streets, but it worked out. I went to jail. Like I got clean and everything's been good from there.
Hmm. Let's see. So how did you like you had some troubles, you came back in and out, that was still a bit of a connection for you, right, in terms of
Yeah,
martial arts, right, whether
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not necessarily regular, but at least you had some connection to it a bit. Where did you go from there? So did you start thinking right away, okay, well, I want to start fighting, or what, how did you get
Um,
into?
I didn't actually make the decision to start fighting. Was it 3 years ago?
Hmm.
And I'm gonna be 28 this year.
Hmm.
But it was just always on and off. When I really got into it, I think it was back 2000. I don't know when my coach opened up his gym, but even before that, when I went to the UFC gym, uh, it really it stuck with me meeting Jamin Tayaba, Marcel, Cody. Just all of them were just they were good for me as far as where I wanted to take my life and take it out of what I was doing and do something better. So that really had a good impact on my life, and still doing it today. So I've never stuck to anything like that besides wanting to be outside, I guess, and hanging out with friends and stuff. So it means a lot to me.
So these guys that you mentioned, these are your like kind of like your training partners.
Yeah, they were actually my coaches. Now now we're friends.
Okay, but you're saying that as much as you were like running around doing this and that, uh, these are still people that you ran across in one way or another, whether it's from that UFC gym or from just happening to be around them, that you would connect with them. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you just train every once in a while, huh?
As I went with them, I would go every day when I was going with them. I want to say that was maybe like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. So it was such that so it wasn't necessarily that you had in mind that hey, I want to be a fighter. It was just that these were people that you wanted to hang out with now.
These they I liked to fight. Growing up, I liked to fight, and these people fought. You know what I'm saying? They cage fought. So to me, that was like,
Ah.
boom. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to be there. Like that's where it was at. You know, they don't get in trouble. You know, just meeting them the first time. They were just great guys all around. You know what I'm saying? Just the energy was good.
So whereas you were fighting on the streets and it was maybe not necessarily for something that was for one reason or another that was not necessarily serving you. These
Yeah.
guys were fighting, but in a completely different context.
In a completely just a completely different in a better way. In a better way.
And
In
it
an
wasn't such that you
all around
were.
better way.
It wasn't such that you were thinking, "Oh, well, they're just going to teach me to become a better fighter on the street."
No, no,
It
no,
was
no, no, no.
like,
That's not exactly what I wanted.
but like you knew you had a talent for it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
for better
yeah.
or
I had
worse, for better or
special
worse, right?
interest.
Like you
Yeah,
know when you're up on there, and then particularly if it's such that, and again, that's just the way it is sometimes, right? Like you're winning your fights on the street for whatever the reason is. You can kind of feel that I have some confidence in this part of me, right?
yeah. I've actually even street fighting. I never won a lot of them either.
Hmm.
You know
Oh,
what I
really?
mean? I
Okay.
always got beat up a lot. You know
Huh.
what I'm saying? Being the smaller guy, I never let nobody bully me. If you were 6'3", you were just gonna have to beat me up. You know
Let's
what I mean? I only stand 5'6".
let's talk about that a little bit, man. Because I mean, if it's such that if you're getting your ass beat by these guys on the streets too, what was the appeal for you?
I think it's just the adrenaline of just fighting. You know, just win, lose or draw. You know, just my brothers and my friends just always couldn't be a punk.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Win, lose, draw. You had to get that ass beat,
mm.
and that just really like stuck to me. So it doesn't matter. Like I'll get beat up by anybody. It doesn't matter.
Mm.
You know
You're
what I'm
not afraid
saying?
of
Win,
that.
lose, nah. It's just the more so the competition helps. It keeps me in line. I guess you could say just outside of fighting and training, just keeps me in line outside of that.
Mm, mm. Like there's an outlet for you
Yeah,
in some way. I know, like for some folks, I mean, if I try to explain to them why I like going to the gym so much, hitting the bags or sparring or that type of stuff. I mean, they could be like, "Whoa, that's kind of rough."
yeah, yeah.
why would you take somebody punching you in the face or whatever it might be, tapping you or choking you or that type of thing? But so it's hard to if you explain it that way. Hey, why don't you show up and we'll try to choke each other. I mean, that's very
Yeah,
different than
it
than what's really going on.
yeah. It's I guess it's a coping mechanism with life, you know. Some of us have things that help us deal with things one way or another, whether that be alcohol or getting beat up, you know, just getting punched in the face is mine, whether I can't beat you up or not. Just you hitting me is my therapy.
Hmm. Interesting. And that's not in because I don't see that as anything necessarily destructive, like in a bad way, kind of a thing. It's just something that is on a visceral level. Well, you're it's like real.
Yeah, I just found it keeps me out of trouble. It keeps me in line. Like there's no reason to argue with somebody over a parking space or the last bag of chips. You know what I mean? And I feel like if somebody doesn't get that outlet, just that little spark could be the reason why somebody flips out.
Hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. So you've been training, consistently, pretty regularly for the last 5 years or so.
Yeah.
And then was there a point that you just said, you know what, I want to try my hand in the ring?
Um. Yeah. Actually, I think my coach mentioned the fight to me. Maybe 3 weeks. I don't want to say for sure and say the wrong date, but I think it was. It wasn't like a fight that I was training for like months.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So, it was just like right back. It was just back to back. The fights just came to me back to back in like a month.
And this was
And
when was your first bout?
um, 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 2015.
Okay, okay. So a couple years after like starting to work out with these guys, fairly consistently, you had an opportunity
To go on,
to go.
and I wanted it. I
Okay.
wanted to see what it was, and the rush, the adrenaline, just the feeling was just so rapturous. Like that kid, there's none like it. There's
But
none like
let me go back a little. So if it's such that you're just training, and then this is you didn't have any thoughts of like, oh yeah, I want to start fighting amateur.
I did after all that I was training. I did
Oh, you
want to
did.
fight,
Okay.
but I didn't know so soon.
Ah, I see. I
I
see. You
never
thought you were
knew
still
so
getting
soon.
ready to get ready, kind of thing.
I'm like, okay, maybe like 6, 7 years I'll get a fight. Yeah, I didn't know that coach was gonna get me one so soon, and that was just great.
So it
It
just
was
kind of
just
fell in your
great.
lap, and you had a couple 3 weeks notice to get ready for this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So where
Like,
did that take you then? When this fight this fight falls in your lap. This is a amateur fight, yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
With
So
tough enough. Thank you, tough enough.
so they give you a chance for this one. What changes in your mind and your life at that point? Now that you've got this goal just a few weeks out, what's going in your mind, and what are you doing?
I was nervous as all hell for sure. You know, I knew I wasn't going to be fighting somebody that didn't know how to fight. Like they trained too, so they really fought too. So I was just really excited, and just being able to go out there and just share the ring with him was an amazing impact on my life. That I wanted to do it again. You know what I mean? The way he kicked me so hard in the face, like I was just like, yeah, I wanted some more, and I knew it wasn't going to be the last fight.
Hmm. That's interesting when you talk about it. Now, did you know this guy prior? The one that you were fighting?
No,
No?
no. His name was Xavier Monreal. Shout out to you, dude. Thank you for everything, man.
So what was that like? I mean, because typically it's and I don't know how it was for you as far as your training camp and that type of thing, but particularly you were training with the same guys over and over for a couple of years, right? It wasn't like they're
Yeah.
bringing people in from the outside to spar with you or anything like that.
No, yeah, it was the same team, the same group of people at the time that I took my first fight. So it was great.
So what was that like though? Because now you've over time, right? Even if it's just a couple months, whatever, you're working with these same guys. You get to know their tells. You get to know where they're strong. You get to know where you can take advantage, right? But now you got somebody in front of you, and then you got a crowd as well. We can talk about that a little bit later on too. But I mean, just the sheer of like, this is a completely unknown dude to me, right? And I don't know, did you have like footage of him prior or?
Did I? I think the only footage I watched of him, I actually think he only had one fight prior that he lost to, which I think he got knocked out in the first round. And I think that's the only video I watched of him. So really, there was no tell of what he knew, his footwork, his hand speed. There was nothing really like to watch. You know what I mean? Like he just got knocked out, and I was thinking that okay, this dude is going to be hungry, so expect him to show. You know, what I'm saying, show for it, and getting in there and his footwork, and he was good, man. But it was crazy to see how someone with real skill that really trained and get in there. It wasn't no street fighting, just completely different. It was just the real tell of what did you really learn.
And very different though. Also, I mean, you're gonna assume very different, just emotionally. Going in there again. Aside from the fact that it's a amateur fight. I mean, just and the environment, just having somebody there that there are definitely some stakes in it, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like you really want to win. He just coming off of a knockout. You want to get a win off your right out the gate. But then this is a completely unknown person to you, also.
I honestly came in there not knowing what I wanted, except that I knew I wanted to fight. I didn't know if I wanted to win or lose. Like that wasn't anywhere in my brain at all. It was just I wanted to fight was there, and so taking that from there and having him hit me and punch me, and we're throwing each other around, and never once as I was in there I thought I don't want to be in here anymore. I never once thought please let this be over, or it was fun. It was fun. I loved it. Having everybody, the excitement of having the crowd scream every time one of us did something crazy was just epic. Um, being walking around the audience after and before the fight, and just people like smiling and fist bumping and taking pictures, and just being able to put that smile on somebody else's face was something that I love to do. Was amazing.
Now, how do you see the guy that you fought? Was it such that, and a lot of it we see, particularly these big events, UFC and Bellator and all these. There's a bit of theater to it, right? Particularly if it's like, oh, I hate this guy's guts, or that type of thing. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
Is that what? Was there any of that going on, or for you at all? I mean, it's like I've got to think of I got to think to myself that I just don't like this guy so that I can perform properly, or what? What was it for you?
No, it was just I j- I just knowing he was gonna hit me was was it just brought out so much energy, and I don't know how to explain that. That's just
You
it.
didn't need any more drama than that,
Yeah, I didn't need not to like him
mm,
to want to hit him.
mm, mm.
Um, More so in it's just business.
Just business, right?
It's just business.
That's very interesting.
Because I don't like confrontation at all. I don't like to fight. I don't. Learning all this stuff, learning martial arts made me learn a lot about myself. I thought I liked getting into street fight. I thought all that. I thought I liked that, but that's not really. It was something bigger than that. That really was just inside. So to take that, I thought I liked it, and then I found mixed martial arts, and I loved it. And to do something that you like, to let go of something that you love to for something that you like, you can't do it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I can never go. It can't go back to that. So just learning mixed martial arts, it's helped me just with me, just who I am. You know what I mean? So just to learn a lot about myself. You know, but I used to somebody call me a bitch outside of the street on the streets, and that wasn't okay. Say now that I know mixed martial arts, just like call me a bitch. I'm gonna walk away. no matter what, what I'm saying, you can, unless it's like he really like tries to throw his hands on me, then, by all means, I got to defend myself. But saying just words are just words now. Like it has nothing to do with me at all.
But you don't have that tension inside like you used to when you're running.
Yeah, yeah, and from doing that, and somebody who fights, like now when somebody tries to get into it with me or do this and that, in my brain, I'm just thinking, well, do you cage fight? And if you don't, well, then what's in it for me? You know what I'm saying? Are you holding the title belt? No, well, then what's in it for me? Like, there's nothing I will get out of it. You know what I'm saying? He might get something out of it, like how we learn at the gym. Like, if I'm in there getting beat up every day and I'm learning to, do this, do that, I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing in it for me to be out there in the streets fighting.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So what is it that have you remember any times that you felt like so challenged that you questioned whether you keep on going? Like in your training or
Actually, when my second fight, actually, I got whooped like 47 seconds in the first round, like straight whooped, like just dogged out. And I just thought, like, I thought, is this for me? Do I want to do this? I actually, uh, I pulled the fight because I wasn't in the right mind. I had another fight scheduled right after my second fight. It was all like maybe 2 months altogether, three of those fights. And after the second one, I just wasn't sure. I didn't know. I knew that I was going to keep training and stuff like that, but I wasn't sure if I was going to fight. Or if I was, it wasn't going to be for a while. And so knowing that I still wanted to train and do all that stuff, but I guess being depressed that I got my ass whooped so fast, like so unintelligently on my part, kind of brought me down. But getting it again and seeing my team get after it, I wanted to do it again. You know what I mean? So it was fun. So after that, I started getting into another grappling match I did at Matt King's, and then I took another fight. I don't know if it was in the same order right there, but
so after that loss, that second fight you had, which was a loss, did you already had something else lined up after that?
yeah, I already had something else lined even before I took that fight.
Even before it was already lined up, and then this second one that you ended up losing, it just came up in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were like, just, hey, you want to fight? Yeah. So I took it, and but it kind of defeated me a little bit on the inside. But I never let go. It defeated me probably months after. But after that, like it started turning into something else. It wasn't a loss anymore. I thought it was just a huge loss. Just so sad. It turned into fuel. It turned into fire. I started training harder, running more, doing this more, hitting the heavy back more. I was just on it in class every day. I don't think I missed 10 classes that year. And so it was just a whole year of just training, and then I took my third fight. But it really fueled me to just work really, really hard. But I did let it defeat me at first. I did.
So you're thinking, okay, well, maybe you started questioning. But then, and that's the thing that's interesting, is like just making that change, right? And we can apply this to a lot of different areas of life, not just in martial arts, is that, wow, that loss there, you looked at it before as something that maybe it's a clue that this isn't for you. But then you started looking at it as something else. You talk about it as it was fuel, but what exactly was the fuel? Because you could say loss, but what did it? Whereas before it represented something like a possible hint that this is not for you. But
Yeah.
after that, after you made a decision and you looked at it a different way, what was it about that loss? Now you think it's different.
What was it about that watch is that what meant to me as it changed was I kept watching that video over and over and over and over, and just seeing how many blows I took and I just didn't go down.
Mm.
I was just like, you didn't go down, you didn't apply anything. So if you didn't go down and you applied what you learned, it's endless from there.
Well, let me
It's
ask you.
endless
That's
from there.
interesting that you say that. Now, when you looked at it over and over, some people would look at it over and over and be like, just a spiral downward, a spiral downward. Was it did someone tell you, look, man, how many times did you get hit and you kept on going, or was that just
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was my buddy AB, and he was like, dude, he was hitting you.
Mm.
He was hitting you and hitting you and hitting you and you. And I ate a head kick. He was showing me. He's like, that head kick and you didn't go down. You know what I mean? So he inspired me again to just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're better than this, dude. Get out of your own head.
Mm. So
And
so
so
you did, as I'm sure you looked at it a lot too, like the video and stuff, and you weren't getting that, but someone else outside was telling you, "Hey, man, this is what I see," and
yeah,
then you finally started hearing it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. It's like you because I know we all do that, right? We get stuck in our heads where it's you don't want to. It's a big deal, right? You don't want to say that it's not. It's like, oh, just kind of just whatever, because you don't want to take away from the moment of it as well. There's definitely a an enormity to it. But then it's all sometimes it's that feeling of like, oh, it's such a big deal that will keep you in that downward spiral a little bit. But you'd already surrounded yourself anyway with people that could appreciate other parts of your performance.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody else was so appreciative and just, thankful and just encouraging and supportive of just me getting out there and all. And so, you know, with everybody, being supportive, I just realized that it was me, that it was me bringing myself down. It wasn't, everybody loses in life sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's not the loss that makes you a loser. You know what I'm saying? It's staying on that loss that makes you a loser. And even if you lose another fight again, that's not what I'm saying. That makes you a loser. It's just you got to get up and try again. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. You can't stop. You can't let nothing stop you. You know what I'm saying? Anything and everything is going to try and stop you, and that's just the way life is. But you just got to keep fighting. You got to.
Talk to me a bit more about your team, because that's something that we hear it on occasion. Sometimes with these bigger fights, it's very easy for the star to the guys that are actually in the ring to overshadow the fact that they didn't make it alone, right? And a lot of people will graciously when they do win, and they'll acknowledge, hey, it was a team effort.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah. Talk to me about your team and what that means to you.
Team team is the biggest thing out there, and your team isn't just the people that you train and spar with, that you got this bloodshed of bond with. It's everybody out there that just supports you. You know what I mean? Your family is your team. Your friends are your team, and if your friends don't support you, so you can make this dream, they can't be on the team. And it's just, this is the sport has to be real. The love has to be real. They can't just be want to be on that team with condition. You know what I mean? And as far as the fight team goes, like we all right there. They're just there. We have the same dream already. You know what I'm saying? One dream there. So the team is just inspiring. They just if I take a loss, then we lose.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's not oh you lost and then I'm not on the team no more. We're all in it together.
Mm.
And so just having them on my team as far as that, not so much fighting
Mm.
really because it's not really you can have a world class gym and I feel like probably if you don't have that bond with those people then you won't learn. You won't be open minded, I guess, to suggestions and their outlook on how you're training, on what you're doing, and accepting that criticism.
Mm. I can only imagine that it feels like you have like, almost like a responsibility to them.
Yeah,
Like you owe something to those folks. Right.
yeah, yeah. Definitely. With everything that my coach has taught me and has was they put on as something that I look to on in my life.
Mm.
Um, that's exactly where I want to be. Without I guess his help and I guess the potential he sees in me, I probably wouldn't see it in myself.
Mm.
Like he really pushes me to just be the best I can be, and so by him doing that, and again he runs a free school, that just shows like there's no money in it. Like I'm not uh a dollar bill in his pocket for him trading me. You know what I mean? I'm more so a redemption story,
Mm.
something to give back to the community. So what he teaches me, like I just want to be able to take that what he's provided for me and be able to give that back to the community of people who grew up like minded like I have,
Mm.
or even just troubled some or foster home, group homes, juvenile delinquents. Like I've been there, so I know what it's like, and to understand that and to come from that background and take it into something better. Just hopefully I can just save one life at a time.
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting you say that because it's like there are times I know with my former instructors and even my current ones where there's only so much you can do, whether you're paying them or not. But there's only so much you can do to give back to them, right? I mean, you can't do exactly the same thing to him what he did to you. Like you're not training him for fights or anything like that. You're not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very it's very different. But your way of paying back is almost like, I mean, you've got these ideas of paying forward essentially,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I definitely want to help. I know I want to work with how can I say it, from teens and younger for sure. Um, just to get the jump start on them from, maybe you come from a troubled home or you feel some type of way when you see your dad drinking a beer or something. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Just something that doesn't make you feel right inside, and you just want to let it go. Like it bothers you. You know what I mean? Like for me, it was my mom wanted to always be on drugs. That always upset me, and it still upsets me today. But you got to have an outlet. I can't let that bring down who I can be in the future. And so, and me being an adult and still feel that way, I know for kids it could be worse because they don't know.
How do you how do you even start that conversation? So I mean, it's different, right? When you see someone comes to you, say, Pierre, man, I've got some challenges, or uh, it's different when it's inside, right? Because you know what it's like when you, even in the gym, right? You need some help. Hey man, I think I need to work on my takedowns, or I need to work on, this particular combo here, whatever it might be. But in that case, you're willing already. You already know. You've already seen that. Hey, I'm in this bad situation, right? And I'm sure you look back on your life, right? You go back when you're running around and that type of thing. You had a chip on your shoulder. You had a lot of tension inside. There may be a couple of folks that could, like your old instructor that kind of got through to you. Some of the other people that that they got you kind of more into the fight game. But then I'm sure there's some other ones that are telling you these same things, right? But you were not letting it in from them for one reason or another. How would you approach that for somebody else that was in your similar situation?
Um, I guess you've gotta be there to words is just words, you know what I mean? But to emphasize, I don't know how to explain that, but to be able to emphasize the word into a feeling and to be able to just spark something in somebody to want to just do better. You know, I don't know what it can be, you know what I mean? Just some way it could just be a somebody to talk to and just for advice might make them want to be better, but maybe you don't like to talk to people, but you like hitting the pads or you like hitting people, not for say as fighting, but it just happened to so be an outlet, and maybe through that we can bond and maybe that just that talk of how life and what to and to not to do and just advice on life to hear that and just not have any kind of evil or hate left inside of you.
Because it took you a bit. I mean, there had to be some sort of common ground with you and the people that actually did get to connect with you. Like the people that you actually decided, I'm going to let this person in some way.
Um, I think about like my life has just been pretty much open. I've never hid that I've been in foster homes and things like that from people, or like me being an addict before, or um running the streets. They've never really bothered to just. I've just always been around people, so that's never really been hard to talk about. I guess just talking about it is just make conversation, but the way it makes you feel inside is just different.
Mm-hmm. So you had no problem talking about it, but then just like in terms of like actually listening to somebody, that's different though, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think, is that something that I'm just thinking, like, as you're talking about trying to help other people, other youth that has gone through what you went through, is like, what's the way to reach them? And I guess that's not something. I mean, I think that's a hard question to answer.
A way to reach them? Um, I don't know. It can be anything. Just that's why I want to make a I don't know how you could say it, like this goal of making a nonprofit organization for kids that have had this troubled life, and maybe they don't even need to talk about it. They just need to get away from where they're at. What I'm saying? Just come on by. You know what I mean? Hang out. You know what I'm saying? And they'll probably just see people working out, and they probably just don't want to sit there anymore, and they just start working out. Just something's got to be there. Like maybe they just need to get away. Maybe they need to hit some pads. Other people there that have been in the same lifestyle, to just bond with because they already have probably something in common. And I don't know exactly how to reach them in that aspect, but I know like let's say how can I say, like targeted individuals. I can say like just growing up in the hood, like you just look like you grew up in the hood. You know what I mean? You gang bang anyway, and you fighting for stupid reasons. Why not fight for a reason to give back to your family? You know what I mean? You know your grandmother, your mother don't want to see you out there doing that lifestyle. So I mean, not that it's your own choice, but why would you want to? Why would you want to bring that on somebody else? Like you're just not hurting. You're not just. It's not just about you. It's a. It's hurting them too.
Mm-hmm.
So just any kind of lifestyle that's just troubling.
Did you get any resistance from the other guys that you're running around with? The ones that didn't necessarily take to martial arts, take to hitting that type of thing, and be like, man, where are you going? Are you going back to that place? You going back to whatever? Did you get any resistance from guys like that?
I've there's friends. Well, I can I say like people that don't like me anymore that I was friends with that I don't hang out with anymore because I want to do something else with my life, and they're unappreciative of that. So by them being unappreciative to that lets me know that they're not a good friend in the first place.
But I mean, even at the time, right? We can look back on that. Was there a part of you? I mean, because you were hanging out with them for one reason or another, right? They gave you something, whether in the grand scheme of things, if it was positive or not, but at least in the moment, like, hey, these are my friends, right? Was there any question in your head of like, well, you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe what if I just don't do that? I'll stay hanging out with them. Was there anything like that ever came across for you?
No, I just knew that. I knew that as far as long as just training, I knew that I wanted to do that. I think I knew what I wanted to do. I just didn't know how or where to start, or or I don't know, something to emphasize that, just to let it grow. And meeting my coach Phil, he's just that's just been it's been great doing that. I work with some kids around the neighborhood. I go to the park, uh and I'll be training myself, but there will be kids right there watching, like, oh, what? And I'm like, hey, man, come on, man, put these gloves on right here. I got the mitts right here. Hit them, bro. I'll teach you. It's good. And maybe that just might just plant the seed. You know what I mean? So having friends who wanted to take me away from that, I knew it just wasn't good. You know what I mean? It just wasn't good. Sometimes you grow up and you just learn, enough is enough.
Tell me about working with these with kids. Is it as like a formal kind of thing you've got set up already, or is it just like they see you like you're saying like, oh, you're training and then you just kind of bring them in, a kind of informal type of thing, or
There's been a couple times where they knocked on my door and they're like, "Hey, can we train today?" And I was just like, "Yeah, you know what I'm saying." So we go outside. I let them hit the bag. I let them hit uh the speed bag that I got in my garage and stuff like that. And then I'll work mitts with them, and I'll let them know, like, "Hey, fighting is not all about hitting these things. Go run, go run.
yeah.
You can't breathe, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get fit. Come on, guys. And I'll have them run laps back and forth from sidewalk to sidewalk, and it's just good. What I'm saying? Some of them are my kids' friends. Some of them are just kids around the neighborhood, and it's ranged anywhere from let's see, my kids' friends at that time, they were probably like 6 years old, 7, wanting to do that stuff, and so I've had just 16, 17-year-old people just knocking on my door asking me, hey, such and such was telling us that you do this and do that. Do you think you can train with you, and can you train us and this and that? So it just worked out good.
What's that like for you when you're able to give a bit of your gift to somebody else? Particularly these kids that might have just as easily gone down the same path that you did before.
It's more satisfying doing it for these kids that have a troubled life, because who knows, like maybe he knocked on my door because he was arguing with his dad, and saying, maybe they could have got into a fight, but instead of that, saying, they knocked on my door. Like, so just that alone, I don't know exactly what was going on in their mind. So just being able to know, like, just know that I've helped, and know that I've helped, because they leave just, well, I can't breathe no more. I'm just sweaty, and what I'm saying, just we're laughing about it, talking about it. What I'm saying, working on this. Okay, next time we do this, you can just tell the excitement in them. It the excitement in me brings out the excitement in them to see them doing that. So
And you said
it just helps a
you
lot.
have a you have a kid, yeah?
I got 3 kids,
You
three
got three
boys.
kids, three
Yeah.
boys. Wow. So what are their ages?
10, 8, and 4.
So what is your approach with them with all of this? Like I mean, you're like, hey, we're training today, or what? Like whatever.
Um, I don't. I won't force it upon. If they don't want to train, they don't have to. They don't have to. But like my oldest son, he doesn't. He doesn't like fighting at all. He doesn't like arguing. He doesn't like confrontation. It's anything like that is just not in his DNA. I don't know where, but that's good, and I love that about him. Actually, you know what I mean. So, and he likes drawing, and he likes creating stuff, building stuff, and it's just everything he does is so just constructive in a different artistic manner. So it's just great to see and just watch that just blossom right out of him. It's cool to watch him grow like that.
Yeah, but they see you doing all this stuff. They see you in the ring. They see like what's their what do they tell you about their experience seeing you in that way?
My 2 youngest ones love it.
Yeah.
They love it, and they want to do it too.
Okay.
So that's just another thing, father son get to bond on. That's great. More time spent with that. But my oldest son, he doesn't like to watch it. He doesn't like to go. He doesn't I think it scares him, or not so much scares him, but I mean his dad's getting hit. You know what I mean? So how so that's just it's just primal for him as a child. So
And how do you explain it to him in any case if he doesn't like it? Just do you just not talk about it with him, or like is
we
there an
do talk about
explanation
it.
that works for him? I don't know.
We do talk about it a lot, actually. Is he's just sometimes he does actually go to the gym sometimes, and he watches me do this stuff, but he himself just doesn't. It's not him. If he does it, to him, he's just playing around. It's just a game. It's just he's just having fun. But if it was something serious, I don't think that it's nothing he would want to involve himself in.
Pierre, you got where can people get more of you? Like, are you you got some fights coming up, or you where do you train
Um,
specifically? I mean,
yeah, I train actually 7931 West Washburn Road at Asylum Fight Gym with Coach Phil Dunlap. He's a world class champion. Fought overseas. I think he had his first fight. He believed he was 15. So he grew up. Everything that he teaches, he's a great dude. I have social media and stuff like that. My Facebook is Pierre Lagasca. Uh, so that's where you can get more of me right there. As far as my fights go, um, I took a last minute fight again.
hey,
Fighting Saturday.
this Saturday,
Uh, the Saturday coming
hey,
up. We're going to Arizona. Gonna be fighting Jose Rivas, I think his name is. My coach said he's had one MMA fight and 5 MMA smokers, so I'm expecting to get knocked out with those. Like, what I'm saying? As all fun, of course, I want to win, and I want to, what I'm saying, do the best I can. But like I said, I like getting hit. You know what I'm saying? So please knock me out. But but it's gonna be great, man. So that's gonna be fun. And also on that card, my little brother's gonna be on that card too. Uh, gonna be doing a jiu-jitsu match. I believe submission only. So that's gonna be great. That's gonna be great. I can't wait to be on the same card with my little brother because we've been doing this for a while and we've just been talking about doing this. And we thought that it was going to happen when he turns 18, when he takes his first MMA fight, but we're going to be on the same card when he's younger. You know what I mean? So it just happened sooner. So it's just great to see him get out there and just, saying him have all this accomplishment that he's just working on, and everything is just great. As a big brother, it's great to see. It's great inside that I've inspired him to not be how like I was, So
that's awesome. Because just looking at you talk and how excited you get. Some people think, okay, this is gonna be my ticket. I'm gonna get famous, get UFC, that type of thing. But for me, like when I look at you, it sounds like this is just it. Whether that comes, that's cool. But ultimately, this is you.
This is, yeah, man. Just like I said, martial arts just found out who I am, and just being able to help people in general has just been the biggest asset that's just helped me inside and outside, So money, fame, like it's great, but it's nothing that I'm looking towards at all. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be able to inspire others to inspire others. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Just we're all here, you know what I mean? Everybody's different. Everybody has something, you know what I mean? And it doesn't make you any different from anybody else. You know what I'm saying? The chances are you gonna put in that work or not. And how are we gonna find out what interests you to be where you want to be in life? You know what I mean? So that's basically my goal, and that impact has been big on me. You know what I mean? So the only reason why I want people to know me probably is because, hey man, that dude helped me, or somehow that dude impacted my life. You know what I mean? Not, how can I, how just anything else other than that. You know what I mean? Just, that's what I want to do.
Pierre, it's awesome, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Folks, I hope you appreciated that chat with Pierre. As I said, he's just an amazing guy, really inspirational to me in terms of just seeing, just an everyday fighter, somebody that's found a talent. In this case, he enjoys fighting, but he's turned that not only into a way to help himself find focus and purpose in his life, but he's also using that to inspire the next generation in his own backyard. So, real props from me to Pierre. And that's it, folks. Again, this is Philip with the Everyday Fighter Podcast. We'll talk to you next time.